Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago. Michael? Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I think he'll come back.
Exploring uncharted territory.
Totally charted.
Just talk.
Sure. The only reason she babysits is to have
Halloween.
Okay. Come on out.
Halloween. The night he came home.
Hey everybody, NG5 here, and welcome to day 30, and I'll get the audio set up again for the background. The clip that was used in the beginning here was the Halloween 1978 trailer by Halloween Network. So yeah, I'm just saying it. The Fair Use Act of 1976, yada yada yada. It's for entertainment purposes only. Now, give me a second to get the Halloween theme up. Give me a second. Here we go. Alright, just give me 1 second here. The music I'm going to use is from a YouTuber named Rodrigo Cantillano. So, again, I'm just using that as, background music, entertainment purposes only. Fair Use Act of 1936. Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Okay, there's that. I'll start playing it. Go back to the stream. There we go. So, Halloween. This came out in 1978 and is still considered one of the best slasher flicks of its time. I'm going to explain why this is my second favorite Halloween movie. When this first came out, or whatever, the crazy thing was that it was a budget movie. Like, it was a literal budget movie. Let's see, it was directed by John Carpenter, who also went on to make, I believe, let's see, what other movies did he make? Because I know he made a couple that I've seen. He made The Thing back in 1982. Big Trouble in Little China. And then he did a couple of the Halloween, he's done a lot. But yeah, he's known for Halloween, The Fog, and The Thing. The Thing is probably is another really good movie. I would recommend that. I reviewed that a few days ago. I think that was on day 8 or no, day 4. I was looking at. Yeah, it was day 4. But yeah, John Carpenter basically 4 years later after Halloween went around and did the Thing. He went from the Halloween to The Thing, which is pretty cool. But let's see. It was literally a budget movie, which is crazy. I think they shot for only 3 weeks, which is crazy. It grossed over $70 million, and this was an independent film, one of those indie films as it's nicknamed. Primarily praised for Carpenter's direction and score, many credit the film as the first in a long line of slasher films inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Let's see. It spawned a film franchise comprising 11 films, which helped construct an extensive backstory for its antagonist, Michael Myers. Sometimes narratively diverging entirely from previous installments. There was that awful Rob Zombie remake. And then 2 years ago, we got the sequel that retconned all the other movies in between it. In 2006, let me just stop the music. I just wanted to play it once. I'll change the music here to something a little different. Just give me a second. Again, I'm just trying to find something here. Give me a minute. I'm going to use something called the virtual fireplace. Actually, no, Ambience Lab. Ambience Lab Haunted Mansion. I'm going to use that because yes. So, Ambience Lab, if you hear your audio being used in the background, I'm only using it for entertainment purposes only. Alright, so in 2006, this is interesting. In 2006, Halloween was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. That means that Michael Myers is right next to Don Corleone. I'm not joking. That is crazy. I can't get over that. That is definitely something I was not expecting. That's just weird, man. Actually, I'm going to change it one more time. As much as Ambience Lab sounds cool, I'm just going to change it to something else. There we go. It's Sonic Gaiden again, but this time it's Haunted Manor Act 2. And this is by Sound of a Shadow. So I'm just going to use that. You know, I'm just trying to play it safe is all. So let's get into the plot of Halloween, the 1978 original. October 31st, 1963, on Halloween night in the fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois. Let me just turn this down so you can hear me. There we go. So, on Halloween 1963, in this fictional town of Haddonfield, 6-year-old Michael Myers inexplicably stabs his older sister Judith to death with a kitchen knife in their home and is incarcerated at Smith's Grove Sanitarium. 15 years later, Michael's psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Lewis, and his colleague, Marion Chambers, arrive at the sanitarium to escort Michael out. Michael escapes by stealing their car and returns to Haddonfield, killing a mechanic for his overalls, or coveralls, I guess, as well as stealing a white mask, a rope, and knives from a local hardware store. The next day, Halloween, high school student Lori Stroh drops off a key at the still unoccupied and dilapidated Myers home her father is trying to sell. Michael stalks her throughout the day and she notices, but her friends Annie Brackett and Linda Vanderkrook dismiss her concerns. Loomis arrives in Haddonfield in search of Michael and finds Judith's tombstone missing from the local cemetery. He meets with Annie's father, Sheriff Leigh Brackett, and they both investigate Michael's house, where Loomis tells Sheriff Brackett of the danger Michael possesses. Sheriff Brackett is doubtful of Michael's danger, but goes to patrol the streets, while Loomis waits at the house expecting Michael to return. That night, Lori babysits Tommy Doyle while Annie babysits Lindsay Wallace across the street, unaware that Michael has followed them. Michael also kills the Wallace's dog, which is, I guess, animal cruelty. When Annie's boyfriend Paul calls her to come and pick him up, she takes Lindsay over to the Doyle house to spend the night with Lori and Tommy. Before Annie can leave, Michael, who hid in the backseat of her car, strangles and slits her throat. Soon after, Linda and her boyfriend Bob Sims arrive at the Wallace house. After doing the dirty, Bob goes downstairs to get a beer for Linda, and Michael stabs him to death. Michael then poses as Bob in a ghost costume and confronts Linda, who teases him to no effect. Annoyed, Linda calls Lori, but Michael strangles her to death with a telephone cord just as Lori picks up. Meanwhile, Loomis discovers the stolen car and begins searching the streets. Suspicious, Lori goes over to the Wallace house and finds the bodies of Annie, Bob, and Linda, as well as Judith's headstone in the upstairs bedroom. Lori cowers in the hallway where Michael suddenly appears and attacks her, causing her to fall backwards on the staircase. Lori narrowly escapes and flees back to the Doyle house, where she gets Tommy to wake up and let her in. Michael gets in and attacks her again, but she keeps him at bay by stabbing him with a knitting needle, a coat hanger, and his own knife, temporarily knocking him out each time. Then sends Tommy and Lindsay to go to a neighbor's house down the street and have them call the police. Loomis sees Tommy and Lindsay running from the house and goes to investigate, finding Michael and Lori fighting upstairs. During the fight, Lori rips Michael's mask off, making him hesitate and put it back on. Loomis shoots Michael 6 times, knocking him off the balcony. Agreeing with Lori that Michael is the boogeyman, Loomis walks to the balcony and looks down to see that Michael has vanished. Unsurprised, he stares off into the night as Lori begins to sob. Michael's breathing is heard during a montage of locations he had recently been, indicating he could be anywhere, which is kind of scary. And that sets up the whole idea of Michael Myers just being this really crazy, over-the-top, evil character thing, you know. So, this was, let's see. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just getting some stuff here. Again, sorry, I'm just trying to find some interesting stuff here. Oh, filming. Mustafa Khan agreed to put up $300,000 for the film's budget, which was considered very low at the time. Because of the low budget, wardrobe and props were often crafted from items on hand or that could be purchased inexpensively. Carpenter hired Tommy Lee Wallace as production designer, art director, location scout, and co-editor. Wallace had created the trademark mask worn by Michael Myers throughout the film from a Captain Kirk mask purchased for $2 from a costume shop on Hollywood Boulevard. Carpenter recalled how Wallace widened the eye holes and spray painted the flesh a bluish white. In the script, it said Michael Myers' masks had the pale features of a human face, and it was truly spooky looking. I can only imagine the result if they hadn't painted the mask white. Children would be checking the closet for William Shatner after Tommy got through with it. Hill adds that the idea was to make him almost humorless, faceless, this sort of pale visage that could resemble a human or not. Many of the actors wore their own clothes, and Curtis's wardrobe was purchased at JCPenney for about $100. Halloween was filmed in 20 days over a 4-week period in May 1978. Much of the filming was completed using a Steadicam. That's to help you move around without, camera jolts and all that. And a lot of this took place in California, like South Pasadena, the Garfield Elementary School in Alhambra, and the cemetery in Sierra Madre, California. Abandoned house owned by a church stood in as the Myers House. 2 homes on Orange Grove Avenue near Sunset Boulevard in the Spalding Square neighborhood of Hollywood are used for the film's climax, as the street had few palm trees and thus closely resembled a Midwestern street. So again, this was supposed to be in Illinois, but yeah, apparently they were filming in California, which is kind of funny. Let's see. Critical response, no. Retrospective, accolades, analysis. I'm looking at the reception. I'm trying to find that. It's one of those, it was really well respected, I think. Here we go. It's considered one of the best films of 1978. It holds a 96% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with an average rating of about 8.6 and 10. Consensus reads, scary, suspenseful, viscerally thrilling. Halloween set the standard for modern horror films. And on Metacritic, it weighed an average of 87 out of 100. That's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, to compare it to other really good classic horror films, that speaks volumes. And also the fact there wasn't a whole lot of blood and guts and gore used like in Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is my 3rd favorite, but again, like I mentioned yesterday, the whole blood and guts bit of Halloween kind of ruined it. But it's still a really good movie. So looking back here, yeah, this was an independent film, so Compass International Pictures is what made Halloween. And apparently Falcon International Pictures. But yeah, after Halloween, I think, one second, I'm just double checking. Halloween was made by Compass International Pictures, and it only lasted for 4 years. But they also had a second movie that obviously got kind of thrown under the bus. Well, there were a few. Halloween was their big movie. Then they had Nocturna, the granddaughter of Dracula, The Tourist Trap, Roller Boogie, which I think is supposed to be like one of their big ones, Fade to Black, The Day Time Ended, Blood Beach, and Hell Night. Not like Knight, just like a night, I guess, in hell. But those were the only movies that Compass made. But I think after Halloween came out, I think Universal Pictures, picked them up. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me double check. Let me look at Halloween 2. Edited, production, distributed by Universal Pictures. So Universal Pictures, I think, picked up Halloween, the franchise anyway, after the original Halloween. Halloween, it was put in 1983. Halloween was adapted as a video game for the Atari 2600. I didn't even know that existed. Let's see. I'm just looking at this. It's based on the horror film. Let's see. Gameplay. Halloween was adapted to... Players take on the role of a teenage babysitter who tries to save as many children from an unnamed knife-wielding killer. Yeah. The game where he comes home is the title. It says it was violent, but at the same time, this was also during the video game crash of 1983, so Halloween, along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Wizard's other offering, yeah, they basically put this video game company into bankruptcy. Because apparently people can't understand that it's like 2-bit pixels that you're talking about here. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just wanted to mention all this. Yeah, it's crazy. But back to Halloween here. You know, a budget film that became a cultural success is amazing. So here's the little number that I like to kind of end things with. The budget was $300,000 to $325,000. And how much did it make at the box office? $60 to $70 million. That is a lot, and I mean a lot of money. Anywho, tomorrow afternoon, I will be concluding this whole month of Halloween, horror, whatever, live streams with, honestly, my favorite of the Halloween original bunch. And that is, there's only one left, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Say all you want about why I think that's the best one, but I will have my reasons as to why Halloween 3 is honestly my personal favorite of the bunch. But yeah, I know there's gonna be a couple people that are like, hey, I can't believe you like it. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. See you tomorrow, and happy early Halloween, I should say.